Coming up in news.
Another murder in the capital takes the country's murder count up by 1. We have the details straight ahead.
The government signs a nearly $20 million contract for new radars. That story straight ahead.
Illegal dumping has proven to be a big challenge for New Providence in the post-hurricane cleanup. Plus,
what Dr. Dwayne Sands has to say about a proposed national lottery. That story is coming up straight ahead.
Welcome to Our News. I'm Dana Smith. Thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight, a young woman was gunned down at a home in southwestern New Providence today. Our Simone Davis spoke with officers on the scene and filed this report.
Police received calls of a shooting in the Jubilee Gardens area in the early hours of the morning, and upon arrival discovered the body of a female in the driveway of this house behind me.
Sometime around 6:05 a.m. this morning, the police received a report of gunshot being discharged in this area. Responding officers on their arrival met the lifeless body of a female lying in the driveway just behind me there.
Green Slate said upon preliminary investigations, officers were unable to find a motive for the country's latest homicide.
At present, detectives on the scene doing the investigation, combing the area. We are at the initial stage of our investigation, and we don't know the motive at this stage.
The chief superintendent appealed to the public to come forth with any information regarding this incident. Green Slate said police are working vigorously to put a stop to murder and crime.
The police force, we have a major operation going on as we speak. And we're trying our best to combat this vexing problem of homicide. We're getting good support from the public. We want to encourage the public to continue to support us. And we'll never give in. We'll continue to fight this vexing problem.
According to the Nassau Guardian's records, this homicide makes number 80 for the year. Reporting for Our News, I'm Simone Davis.
Well, the government today signed a nearly $20 million contract with a Finnish firm, Vaisala Company, for the manufacture and installation of 4 Doppler radars throughout the Bahamas. Transport and Aviation Minister Glenys Hanna-Martin says once they are installed, the entire Bahamas will finally be covered by Doppler radars. Jasmine Brown has the details in this report.
Hanna-Martin says while it's a major investment by the government, she insists those radars are detrimental for the department.
Hanna-Martin says the essential radars will be installed on New Providence, Abaco, Long Island, and Mayaguana. This new network, she said, significantly boosts aviation safety and weather reporting in the country and is a first for the Bahamas.
Today's signing is very important because you will now have a network of coverage so that, unlike in previous years, no island will be out of the range of a radar. And because we've only had one, that has been the case every single time. But we're an archipelago, and this is a recognition of that also, that we are an archipelago, and the protection, this sort of specific protection, must be throughout the length and breadth of the Bahamas.
But she admits it will not be an overnight process. In fact, she says the 4 radars will have to be manufactured before being shipped to the Bahamas and then installed. She says she expects it will be 2 years before the radars are up and running, with the first radar expected to be installed in New Providence next year and the final radar installed in Mayaguana in 2018.
In terms of the financing, because it's a lot of money, and let me just say, this was a major decision by the government in terms of priorities. It's a lot of money. But it was made because we understand that we are a small island developing state, that we are vulnerable, that we are seeing weather patterns changing and more ferocious hurricanes and storms, that we are being affected directly, that it is actually impacting us in material ways, and that as a consequence, this investment was absolutely essential.
Last year, Hannah Martin was forced to deny claims that the Department of Meteorology's Doppler radar was non-operational as Hurricane Joaquin battered the central and southern Bahamas in 2015. That radar only covers a 200-mile radius, according to officials. But Director of the Department of Meteorology, Trevor Basden, says the Department of Meteorology now has the essential tools to advance weather reporting in the Bahamas.
So now we technically have no excuse, right, for not being more accurate with forecasts and also the tracking of weather patterns.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
The new facility that is slated to produce new licenses for the Road Traffic Department will not be completed for at least another few months. That's according to Hannah Martin, who also said today that new facility will be constructed at the Bahamas Department of Corrections.
The plate itself is currently, before now, the plate was produced by the Ministry of Works. That has been plagued with chronic shortages and other issues, which I don't know. We've had problems with production of Ministry of Works plates and normally running out of them. And then there have been some issues.
Hannah Martin said Cabinet recently approved a move to start production there. However, they have hit a roadblock.
This is in conjunction with Transport, Ministry of Works, and Ministry of National Security. The plans for building have been completed. And it will be, I'm told that probably in the first quarter of next year, all things being considered, that we will be able to begin manufacturing in the prison.
With construction of the building yet to be started, Hannah Martin says in the interim they have outsourced the manufacturing to a private firm. Well, a national lottery has been recommended as a means of defraying the cost of natural disasters such as Hurricane Matthew. But according to Free National Movement Senator Dr. Dwayne Sands, the PLP just needs to let it go. Georgia of Stirrup reports.
Free National Movement Senator Dr. Dwayne Sands is discouraging any thoughts of a proposed national lottery. According to Sands, there are several different avenues that the government can take to raise funds, and that shouldn't be one of them. Minister of Tourism Obi Wilchcombe recommended that the government introduce a national lottery to defray the costs associated with natural disasters such as Hurricane Matthew. The 2013 gaming referendum received a majority no vote from the public, but web shop gaming was later legalized by the Bahamas government. Sands says the PLP clearly just doesn't get it.
I don't think this administration gets it. The people of the Bahamas said no to a national lottery. The people of the Bahamas said no to the numbers industry. And this administration decided that they would do it anyway. So now here we come one more time trying to come through the back door and introduce a national lottery.
Wilchcombe was agreeing with Fort Charlotte MP Andre Rollins, who recommended that the government give the lottery some consideration. However, the minister in charge of hurricane relief, Shane Gibson, disagreed that a lottery ran by the government would be the right approach. Sands said the government has better things to focus on.
The people of the Bahamas have now rebuked this administration on 2 separate occasions. Let's go. Let it go. Let it go. Demonstrate that you have the capacity to spend the people's money honestly, transparently, without waste. Demonstrate that you have the ability to walk and chew gum at the same time.
Sands says the government needs to look at better ways to raise and save public funds.
Let's look at ways that we can cut expenditure, eliminate all non-essential travel, eliminate a number of things that could be seen as excessive use of government funds. Let's curtail the use of public vehicles. Let's reduce the amount of non-essential celebration. There are many ways that we could reduce expenditure.
Reporting for our news, I'm Georgia Stirrup.
Well, when we come back, the government is hoping to wrap up its post-Hurricane Island cleanup in 2 weeks. F&M Senator Dr. Dwayne Sands voices concern about hurricane damage in the Elizabeth constituency. And registration is open for Marathon Bahamas 2017, which kicks off in just 80 days. Stay with us.